Hello to everyone and anyone watching this video. My name is Taja. Welcome back to my channel. Hello. So before I start this video was meant to be me talking at the camera rather than a voiceover. I was gonna use my phone as a microphone, kind of like I'm doing now, but I was gonna film myself speaking on my camera in this field. Went to the field, travelled all the way there, took the bus, took 2 buses in fact, got there, unpacked my stuff and realised I had no camera. I forgot it at home. So instead I just read in the field. Thank goodness I brought my book. And instead I'm going to just talk now and add the voiceover to the video. I mean, I'm sure you don't really care, to be honest. I don't think it really matters. But I think I'm going to put the non-voiceover version of this video on my Patreon. I have a Patreon. I don't really promote it because I don't use it a lot. I don't have a lot of content in there. I have a bit of content in there, but I don't really have any subscribers. So I feel like there's no point in really promoting it too much. But it'd be great because, cost of living crisis, So if you want to subscribe to my Patreon, I think it's up on the screen how much it is a month. But then if you subscribe, I'll definitely make an effort to put more content on that. But I'm going to do like a kind of a silent kind of read with me video for that. So it's exactly the same as what you're watching now, but it's not going to be me talking. Instead, it's going to be the beautiful sounds of all the nature that you can hear. Well, you can't hear it because I'm speaking over it, but there's beautiful nature sounds while I was reading. So yeah, if you want that, then check out my Patreon. Otherwise, let's get started on this video. So this video is going to be me talking. I'm going to be yapping for 40 minutes or so. And I'm going to be talking about something that I've been wanting to make a video about for quite a while, actually. It's been something that's been on my mind a lot. I don't know, I feel like life has made me so jaded, especially over the past couple of years, and this is a topic that's really rang true for me, I guess. And I think it's especially relevant now because, as I'll talk about in this video, I'm going through some life things that are making me really think about this topic, and it's really just making it very poignant, I guess. And we're going to be talking about delusion and the fact that, for me personally, delulu is not the solulu for me. So I want to talk about my experience of being delulu and how it hasn't actually been as helpful as I think it's advertised. I don't know if advertised is the right word, but I think, the whole concept of being delusional has been popularized over the past couple of years, on social media and stuff, the manifestation, spiritual girlies, or even just a regular girl who just, happens to live a life where she's being delulu and it's worked out for her. And I think for me, I think for a long time, my whole life, I think I've been not delusional, but I've always been someone who lives their life with hope and faith. I've made it no secret that my life has been very difficult from the beginning, pretty much. I've had lots of obstacles in my life. And I think one of the things that has made me get through it is this unshakable hope and faith. Because without honesty, I think I would have tapped out a long time ago. I know it's a bit dark, but I honestly feel like I would have given up on life a long time ago. But I think there's always been a part of me that feels like one day things will get better. One day things are going to be all right. If I just hold on a bit longer, if I just, have faith that things are going to turn around and things are going to go my way, then one day things are going to change. And to be fair, if I look at every single problem I've had in my life in the past, because of the way life works, obviously, nothing stays the same. So I guess in that sense, technically that has been the case where, every problem I've had in the past has ended, whether it's ended naturally in terms of, there was a time limit. For example, at school, where I hated school because I didn't really have any friends and I was bullied and stuff, but there was a time limit on that. So obviously, I always would tell myself, one day I'm going to finish year 11, I'll be finished with school forever. So, I think hope has always, helped me like stay strong. But I think there's been times where, you know, I've gone through something, or I'm dealing with something, and, you know, I think because it's been, the way it's folded out has been so, like, spectacular, like, its resolution will be so completely, like, incredible. It's like a miracle almost has happened, you know. That I think over the years when I've had moments like that happen, it's made me feel like, oh my goodness, like, maybe being delusional, that thing is going to be okay. Even this is a really upsetting situation, maybe that means, like, being delusional actually works, you know? Some examples of this, like, of situations of my life where, like, being delusional has apparently seemed to work, or seemingly seemed to, like, work, has been when I nearly got kicked out of uni. I think I made a video on it. I mean, I would be wary of looking it up because I feel like every video I've made, like, before 2021 is a bit shit, to be honest. But for a summary, I basically failed one of my exams in my second year, and then I was meant to retake it, but then I missed the retake, and I thought I was going to get kicked out of uni, and it made me really depressed because uni for me was like when I was going through things at school, like secondary school, like I said, I was bullied and stuff, and one of the things that kept me going was the thought of one day I'll be at uni and, you know, I'll escape my home life and school, because my home life was a bit shit as well, and uni was always like this golden, like, ending for me, and the fact that it could be taken away, I just felt like, oh, all of that was for nothing, you know. So that made me really depressed and really low, possibility that I was going to get kicked out. But then it all got, like, fixed in the end. I was allowed to retake my second year, and it all worked out. Another thing I can think of where, like, delusion has worked in my favour was Berlin, and my situation that I've honestly spoken about so many times. Like, I don't want to keep speaking about it. And also the actual video I made about my experience in Berlin, I actually unlisted the video because I felt like it was a bit too personal to be online. Like, I'm glad I did it, like, because I did make that video to, like, help people in my situation, but I feel like it was just a bit too private to stay on my channel long term. So it is unlisted. However, if you know the right videos that are linked to that situation, you could probably find a link to that video in the description somewhere and still watch it. But sorry, I don't know if it's even relevant me bring that up because I'm not going to say what happened, but I had a romantic situation. The other thing I don't want to bring up is because I keep talking about this fucking heartbreak situation I went through. It was literally nearly 2 years ago now. Like, I need to get over it. But that situation, like I said, I've unlisted the video. I'm not going to actually go into specifics, but that whole situation was like a movie. It's like something out of a movie, honestly. Like, I can't believe that happened to me in such an amazing, wonderful way. Even though everything happened afterwards that led to me get my heart broken. Like, I forgot the sentence I was saying. What was I saying? Basically, that situation was just, like, amazing. I can't believe that happened to me, you know? And just there's been certain things, even I think, like, money situations where, you know, I've been in, like, dire money situations, and, like, it's all worked out. Like, it's magically just worked itself out, you know? Like, I remember when I got my job before the job I have now, and I remember I got that job at the perfect time, like, end of summer, and everything lined up so perfectly for me to start that job. And just, I don't know, I'm probably rambling, but my point is that I have had so many situations, well, not so many situations, but I've had enough situations where I feel like it's turned my hope that I've used to get through situations into something more than hope, which is delusion. Because I feel like with hope and faith and whatever, that's just about, like, a certain, like, inner strength. I feel like it's just like having that strength and perseverance to, like, get through, you know, whatever. And there's an acceptance that, you know, you're in the situation, but, like, one day it'll be over. Whereas I feel like delusion is a bit more, like, based on, like, luck and, like, these external, like, magical almost, you know, occurrences. And I think okay, this video is obviously like kind of gonna be like anti-delusion, but like I don't think being delusional is impossible. I've realized, especially over the past couple of years, that the problem with being delusional is that it only really works, and this is just my opinion, and feel free to disagree in the comments, because I want this to be a discussion. Like, please, like, tell me your thoughts and opinions. But in my opinion, this is based on what I've experienced. I feel like you can only really afford to be delusional, and being delusional only really works on a frequent basis when you are privileged. Ooh, I said it. Ooh, I can hear people getting angry. Ooh, people are getting annoyed. Ooh, privilege. And I feel like the word privilege like triggers people, but that's what I think. Because think about it, right? Like, okay, this is a stupid example, but one of my favourite films is Mamma Mia 2. Well, Mamma Mia, both films, to be honest, but I think of Mamma Mia 2. I say Mamma Mia 2 specifically because in Mamma Mia 2 we actually see, if you don't know, I'm not going to describe the plot of Mamma Mia, you either know or you don't, but if just Google it, I'm not going to explain it, sorry, but I'm going to assume that you've watched it, or you know the rough story of Mamma Mia. But Mamma Mia 2 follows Donna, like, it's a flashback kind of film where it follows Donna and her summer like travel adventures, and I always think of her being like a delusional babe, because she like finishes uni, right? She has no money and just like swans off to Europe with some funky clothes, a nice singing voice, and a dream, and it works out for her. I mean, okay, yeah, she does get pregnant, which I feel like is the worst thing that can happen to someone, but she was happy about it, so you know, for her it worked out. But I mean, I feel like for most people, you can't just run away to Europe and it's all going to work out. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you look at the film, I feel like this is such a stupid example, but I think you get what I mean. Like, if you look at the film, obviously she's very beautiful, she's very conventionally attractive. So things just seem to like fall in her lap very easily, you know, like a blonde white woman. You know, it's very easy for her, I feel like. Or like, I don't know, just so many situations where, you know, people are able to like move through life feeling like they can just like live on delusion, but in reality, like the reason why things work out, if it's not for like the, you know, infrequent times of like luck, like the times I described for me, but those people who are able to like frequently rely on delusion, it works out for them. It's because of privilege, because they have financial support or support from people in their lives, or they have looks that they can rely on, or, you know, they're not, you know, they haven't got any disabilities or any like traumas or any, you know, anything working against them, you know, that they can move through life and they can access things more easily, which makes them be able to live on delusion, if I'm making any sense. Do you know what I mean? And I think for me, I've always been like such an airy person. I love to daydream, I love to dream, I just love that kind of thing. And I am a very spiritual person, you know, but I feel like I said, the hope and the faith I live with, I feel like there's a part of me for a long time that was like, oh, like maybe everything that's happened to me, maybe there's something bigger for me, and maybe, you know, things are going to work out for me like in the most spectacular way, where it's all going to be a dream and it's going to be like so completely amazing and things are going to work out so amazingly perfect for me. But in reality, not only has it not happened, but I think it's got to a point where relying on delusion has actually messed things up for me badly, because instead of planning my life and living my life in realism and actually being realistic about things, I've had this airy-fairy, oh, everything's going to work out, and not being actually realistic and like making solid plans. And it's actually messed me up a lot in my life. So I just want to talk about that. I'm just going to have a little ranty rant, if that's okay. So number one is my whole career situation. So for a long time, when I started my channel, I was so delusional about it, you guys. I was so delusional. I honestly thought I was going to be the next I was gonna say best dressed, but like I didn't do fashion. But like, okay, next Emma. Okay, no, I didn't think I was gonna be as big as Emma Chamberlain. But what I'm trying to say is, I thought I would be able to have a career being a YouTuber when I started. I was like, yeah, I could be a YouTuber. Like, I've got this, you know. And for a while, I honestly, like, I thought it was going that way. Which, honestly, like I said in the beginning of this video, like, none of my videos before 2021, I'd say, are very good. Maybe, like, the odd one or two. I think, actually, no, my most viewed video of all time was made in 2020. But, like, you know, most of them are not very good. But, yeah, I was so convinced. And for a long time, because of that, I didn't really think about myself having a career. I mean, I've always known, well, until recently, I kind of was one of those people that were like, I didn't want to be, like, have a typical job. I didn't want to make a 9 to 5. Actually, now I say that, my second most viewed video is about that as well. My second most viewed video is about the fact that I've never had a dream job until I guess now. I guess I have a dream job now, kind of. I mean, it's not a dream job per se. It's more a case of like it's something that I want to explore as a career, but I wouldn't say it's a dream job. I mean, I don't know. We'll see if I actually get a job in that career. But basically, because I never really planned what I was going to do after uni, aside from be a YouTuber, I didn't really like put in the work to do things that would help make me more employable, I guess. I mean, even my YouTube channel, which actually, thinking about it, if I had thought of my YouTube channel as something that wasn't going to be a job but just as a hobby, I could have actually maybe tailored my channel to be more like employer friendly, because basically I want to work in marketing, specifically like social media marketing, digital marketing. And there's been so many jobs where, you know, they've asked to see examples of my work, and like if I felt comfortable to show my YouTube channel, then that probably would have helped me a lot. But because I've always had the idea that my YouTube channel was just for me, I never thought about it as like being a tool to boost my career in marketing. So I've made it like not very like employer friendly, you know. I'm swearing, I'm talking about my personal life, you know. It's very, you know, I wouldn't feel comfortable showing a potential employer that, you know what I mean. So just I wish I'd been more realistic and just not thought of it as, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that I've only did it for the money. I'm not saying that. It was 100% a hobby, but I thought it'd be like a hobby that I could one day earn money from, you know. And now that I know that's not going to happen, probably, I mean, you never know, but now it's just that I wish that I didn't rely on that as a career option, and I wish I didn't put all my eggs in one basket, and I wish I had been more realistic and maybe have given more thought to what I wanted to do as a career beyond university and beyond YouTube, because now, you know, I'm stuck in a job I hate. I'm unable to get a job in the field that I want because no one wants to hire me. And if I had more skills and, you know, did more things that would have made me more employable, then maybe I wouldn't be in the position I'm in now. So yeah. Another thing is Australia. So this is kind of random, but I feel like if you've watched me for a long time, you might know the law, but I feel like most people don't care enough about me to remember these things, so that's fine. But basically, when I was in uni, I had this obsession with getting a working holiday visa as a means to basically move out. So my plan was to get a working holiday visa, and then after the summer of the year I graduated, I would go to Australia, having saved up over the summer for the money to get that. And then I would move to Australia and then get a job there. And then by the time I come back from Australia, my plan was that I would have like left the country with more money than I went with. So then I would have enough to move out officially once I was back in the UK, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I feel like, well, I mean, number one, I unfortunately graduated in 2020, so I don't need to explain how that affected my Australia plan. But also, like, I feel like, again, put my eggs in one basket because I felt like I could be delusional that it was going to magically all just happen like that. I mean, even, like, if the pandemic didn't happen and I was able to go to Australia, like, I feel like that wouldn't have even worked, because I mean, the chances of me going to a whole different city and like earning enough that I left with more than I came back with, like obviously I'm gonna be traveling around Australia, I'm gonna come back broke. You know, my friend recently went to Australia on a working holiday visa and she came back broke as hell. Like, I feel like most people don't come back richer doing those sorts of things. So I feel like that was kind of stupid on my part, to be honest. And I feel like rather than like putting my faith into this, again, this random dream that wasn't that solid, I should have made more realistic steps to moving out. Because if I'd done that, maybe I wouldn't have been kicked out. Maybe if I had, you know, been more active in my plans to move out, I would have been able to like save up enough that I could have moved out on my own terms, or that by the time I did get kicked out, I would have had the money to do so, because I would have already been planning to do that anyway, if that makes any sense. So yeah, I think that's kind of screwed me over, that whole plan. I mean, I did like kind of end that plan even after the pandemic. I was like, I don't know if this is gonna happen. I mean, one day I'm still thinking about it. I may one day decide to go on a working holiday visa. I think it's a really cool experience, but you know, it's one of those things where it's like, you know, maybe not. Another thing, and I guess the name is in the word, but my delusion ship that I keep fucking talking about because I can't help myself. Guys, I literally need a new love interest. I'm on Hinge. I'm trying. You know, I've said before, I'm scared of men, but I'm really, really trying to date. I really want to go on a date this summer. Well, summer's nearly over, but I want to go on a date. Just at least one date by the end of this year. But a date that doesn't, like, make me want to go to a bloody psych ward because I get involved in a guy who, like, makes me, like, insane. Like, last day I went on. But, oh, God, I feel like that whole situation was so delulu. That situation was actually crazy. I made a video. I'm not going to go and, like, explain the situation because I made a whole video in February. So I'll link that if you want to know the backstory. But I'm going to, like, speak about my thoughts about that in relation to delusion, as if you've watched the video and you know the context. But with that situation, it's just like, I wish, again, I had been more strict with myself. I mean, okay, I'm not hard on myself because it was my first kind of romantic situation, but I feel like I could have been a bit more realistic still. Like, from the moment there were signs that, you know, I was being breadcrumbed and, you know, he wasn't interested, I should have just cut that off and not entertained it. You know, yeah, I especially didn't entertain it because it wouldn't have led to what happened in later on when, you know, I realised he really wasn't interested and I got my heart broken. And he went travelling around with his ex, and then ghosted me. But yeah, I just wish, again, I mean, I'm like I said in the video I made in February, I'm glad I experienced that because it kind of was character building and I learned a lot from it. But it would have saved me a lot of pain if I was more, like, strict with myself and wasn't so, like, up in the fairies. No, that's not the phrase. Up in the clouds? Head in the clouds. You know what I mean? I was so like, oh yeah, like, it's gonna be fine. He loves me. We're gonna get married. They'll have his babies. Like, I was actually so embarrassing. I was so embarrassing. And I wish I was just more realistic about the situation, you know? I wish I was more, like, level-headed. Because I normally am, but I don't know. I was moving mad, you guys. And I wish I didn't do that. And even now, today, my whole job situation, this whole year, like, if you've been watching my videos, you know I've been on a journey of trying to change my life. And I feel like a lot of that has been very, very, very delulu. Extremely delulu. If you watched my video in January where it's called I'm going to change my life in a year, two of the biggest things I want to change in my life, unfortunately, they're not really in my hands. And it's moving and it's getting a new job, a full-time job. And, I mean, okay, yeah, they are in my hands, but, like, compared to, like, I want to change my weight, or I want to change my hair, or I want to, you know, get more hobbies, something like that. Like, I have such little power. Obviously, I do influence it. I can control how much I can save to move, and I can control how many jobs I apply to. But ultimately, like, the decision to move and the decision to work elsewhere is in the hands of whoever's deciding that I can do those things, by, you know, whoever's hiring me and whatever landlord is, you know, offering a room or whatever. So yeah, I feel like this year has been very, very like hard for me, because I've been so dead set on wanting to change my life. Because I mean, especially the money thing, they're both really important things, because with the home thing, like my home situation, I'm really unhappy. It's more like my sadness here, and the inconvenience and the uncomfortableness. It's just so annoying feeling uncomfortable in your home, you know what I mean? And I just detest it. But with the job thing, like, obviously, like I said in the beginning, again, cost of living crisis, subscribe to my Patreon, please. I need the money. But with the job thing, like, there's so many problems in my life right now that is affected by lack of money. Like, if I had the money to solve problems in my life, it'd be so much easier. I could, like, literally list a bunch of things that I need to get sorted out, but I can't because of money. The job, well, I guess the moving thing is included in that. Although I am trying to save, so hopefully I can move despite working a part-time job. But anyway, it's just so frustrating, and it's just like, I don't know, I feel like I was so hell-bent on me moving and getting a new job. But also I think as well, like, I think I was very delusional in the sense of, like, in my head I thought, like, yeah, I was just, now, because, okay, for like example, like, when it got to January, and obviously it's like, oh yeah, new year, new me, everything's gonna happen 2024, woo. Like, I literally was like, that was my vibe in that video that I made in January. But like, I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna get a job straight away, it's just gonna happen just like that, and then I'm just gonna be able to magically, like, find somewhere to live by summer. I'll be moved away somewhere else, and that has not happened at all. And I feel like if I was a bit more realistic, again, rather than being so delulu about it, I would have maybe focused on saving more, so that rather than, you know, relying on a new job, I would have relied on more so on the income that I earn now. I would have just focused on, like, saving more, and then I would have been able to, like, start moving when I wanted to, like, in the summer, like, start looking for someone to live this summer, maybe. But I don't know, it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, it's just frustrating, you know? It's just really, really annoying. Even, like, last year again, like, my last living situation, I was, again, quite delusional about that, in the sense of I had a certain amount of time to move before I had to find somewhere else to live. But I'd lost my job as well, so in my head I was like, oh, it's fine, like, because of the power of delusion, I'll just find a job within the 3 months I need to move, and then by the time I've got the job, I can easily find somewhere to live. That never happened, obviously, because that's not how life works. So by the time I left my last, where I last was living, to live where I currently live, I was in a messed up situation where I was, like, in debt and had to rush to find where I currently live. It was just a mess, you know? It's just like, I don't know in that situation what I could have really done to fix that problem, but I feel like the attitude I had was not very good. Like, I didn't really... I guess, actually, no. I mean, when I think about it, I refused to, like, get a kind of hospitality job. Which, to be fair, like, I had a lot of, like... I was very scared to do hospitality before my recent job. I was scared to do it again because I'd done it in the past. And it was a really bad situation, and I hated it. So I didn't want to put myself in that situation again. And where I was living last time, I was lucky that I didn't need the money so badly that I was forced to get a job, kind of thing. I had the privilege of being able to look for the job I wanted, but I didn't get that job. But looking back, I wish I'd just, like, applied to anything, you know what I mean? Rather than applying to the specific kind of job I wanted. I hope I'm making sense. But yeah, that probably would have made things a lot easier. I probably would not have been in so much debt as well moving. But yeah, I don't know, it's hard. It's really, really hard, these situations. It's really frustrating when I think of my attitude to things. Because I think I just need to remember, like, not to be rude to myself, but, like, I think that being frequently reliant on delusion and the power of, like, things falling into place, like, for me, as the person that I am, it's not gonna fly like that. It's just not. It's actually not. Like, I'm not that girl. I'm not saying that being delusional will never work and to never be delusional, because, like I said, I've gone through things where things are magically worked out. I'm like, oh my God, this is incredible. I can't believe this has happened. But I think living my whole life with delusion is not good. And I think, especially as someone who's not privileged, I need to be more realistic about things I want in life, and knowing that I can't put my eggs in one basket, and I need to be realistic and properly plan for things and be realistic. Otherwise, I just end up disappointing myself, and not only disappointing myself, but I end up making things so much more harder and so much worse ultimately, if that makes sense. I hope I'm making sense though, and I hope this is coherent. I don't even know if anyone cares what I'm talking about, but yeah. So I don't know, it's frustrating because I'm someone who, like, I try to avoid living a life that makes me unhappy. I don't want to live my life in a way that I'm, like, suffering. Cause, like I said, because I've had such a difficult life, I'm so done with, like, compromising and, like, struggling and being in situations where I have to, like, survive to get what I want. Like, you know, a means to an end kind of situation. I feel like I'm constantly in, like, that situation of living my life, you know, with a means to an end kind of thing. I don't know if that's correct grammar, but, like, you know what I mean. Like, for example, like, now, the fact that I'm working a hospitality job so I can pay rent, and I hope to one day work a full-time job in the industry I want to work in. And it's like, I don't want to do that. Why can't I just have the job I want? But that's not realistic. Real life doesn't work like that. Real life isn't fair. Real life doesn't give you what you want exactly the way you want it. And it's crazy because I've had such a hard life. I feel like I should know that. But I think what it is with me is that in my brain, I'm like, because I've had such a hard life, I'm owed, like, luck. It's owed to me. Like, I deserve to have things work out so beautifully, amazingly for me after things being so devastatingly horrible for me, if that makes sense, you know? So I think that's why I am the way I am as well. Like, I think it's kind of entitled, I guess, which isn't really a nice way to be. I mean, I'm not generally an entitled person at all. I'm very humble person and stuff. But I think when it comes to like getting what I want in life, I can be quite, like, entitled in the sense of, like, I've been through so much. I deserve some happiness, even if that happiness is unrealistic. But because life isn't this perfect story situation, that doesn't happen, and I end up disappointed, end up laying my eggs in one basket, and it ends up, like, putting me in worse situations. So yeah, I don't know. I think the solution, like I said, is just to not put everything in one basket, and just, I guess, something I try and, like, live by generally is the whole prepare for the worst, hope for the best. Because, like I said, hoping and having hope isn't bad. It's just when it's unrealistic, you know? Like, I can hope that I will get a job one day, but I'm not going to be delusional about it. I'm not going to make unrealistic plans based on it. So, like, you know, I mean, I don't want to jinx it. Let me find a piece of wood before I say what I'm going to say. I may not end up finding a job I want and moving this year. Touch wood I do, though, but I might not. And I need to make realistic plans that are not based on these, like, timelines that aren't, like, realistic. Especially now, it's, like, 4 months away till the end of the year, and I may very well still be where I live and still have the same job, which kills me. Especially because, oh my God, okay, little side rant. I think what's also really triggered me and why I'm really sad about, like, this whole thing is that, like, literally 4 of my colleagues are leaving where I work, which, okay, one of them were always going to leave. One of them was fired, to be fair. So really technically 2. But it's made me really, really angry. Not at them, obviously, but at my situation. I'm fuming because I feel like out of everyone, again, this is going to sound entitled. I'm probably going to sound like a bad person. And you can be mean to me about what I'm going to say, but I feel like out of everyone, I feel like I deserve a new job more. I know that's really bad. No, okay, let me explain. I'm not going to count the one that's fired, but the 3 other people who are leaving, like, I feel like they're not in the situations I'm in. They have security, maybe they have, like, supportive people in their lives, or they have, you know, future. I think it's what's my age as well, because I am the oldest employee there. So it's like, what am I doing there? And I feel like at this stage, if I'm going to be the age I'm at and I'm working at the job I'm at, I should be thinking of, you know, being in a high position rather than just being a regular team member, if that makes any sense. I've just been spiraling this week, to be honest. When I found out 4 people are leaving, I'm just like, why am I still here? What the fuck am I doing here? I'm 26, working a minimum wage job, you know, and it's like, what am I actually doing? And the fact that, like, I'm so capable of more, and I'm not, like, shitting on, like, minimum wage jobs. Like, minimum wage jobs, like, they're hard. I've spoken about this before, but my job is hard. It's very, very, like, physically draining, and there's a lot of things that you have to remember and do it perfectly as well. So I'm absolutely not saying that, you know, like, it's, like, low skill or anything. But, like, I know, like, it's not for me, and I know I've got so much more to offer. And it's, like I said, it's the fact that I actually know what I want to do, and I'm just not being given the chance to do it. And it's so frustrating. Because, like, what more can I do, you know? And it's just, like, I'm 26, working a minimum wage job. I'm not even doing it full-time because it's literally, I could not do more than 4 days a week because it's so physically, like, draining. My feet are literally, like, throbbing after every shift. I could not do 5 days a week. And it's just like, what else am I going to do? You know, like, is this it? Is this my life? Am I just going to be stuck here forever? I don't want this for myself, but it's like, what else am I going to do? Oh my God. Also, the Eras tour, which at the time of recording this voice recording, just finished, like, this week, and I was so delusional about that, you guys. Like, literally, I'm so sad that I didn't get to go. But I was literally, like, I think I should have been more realistic about that from the very beginning, to be honest. I set myself up, because from I didn't get a ticket, and I was put on the waiting list, and, you know, yeah, I should have just accepted that I wasn't gonna go. But I was like, oh my God, I'm still gonna go to the Eras tour. I'm gonna go somehow. Some miracle's gonna happen. I'm gonna go. And of course not, because, like, there was no tickets. It was sold out event. Like, and I just set myself up for disappointment. If I was more realistic, then maybe I wouldn't be, like, having to delete my Instagram app, because I'm so sad about not going that I can't bear to see any Instagram posts about it. So, yeah. Between the Eras tour disappointment and then 4 of my colleagues leaving, I feel like this month has been a month where it's really made me have to face up to the fact that I rely on delusion too much. Hence me making this video, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. And just, so frustrating. It's like, what else have I got if not delusion? Because these are the times when things are this extreme, I'm like, I need a miracle, you know? I need a bloody miracle. Because I'm actually losing the plot. But it's like, I literally can't, there's nothing I can do about it, you know? I'm seeing, 3 people walk off into the sunset, gonna lead their new lives and explore another better version, I'm assuming better version of their lives and their careers and stuff. And I'm stuck here, and it's like, it's not fair. But I literally, there's nothing I can do. I have to accept it, because delusion isn't real. You know what I mean? I can't delulu my way out of the situation. I'm stuck here. And I have to accept it. And I just have to be realistic and just, like, I guess, plan for how I can move forward in my life as much as possible. I am, like, really trying to save. I've saved up now that technically I could potentially start looking for places to live if I found somewhere with a low enough rent and a low enough deposit. But, I mean, I'm in London, so most places I found, they're, like, still too much. So realistically, assuming that I stay in the same job, I probably won't have saved up enough until the end of the year. Fun. But I don't know. I have to just be realistic and make more realistic plans. I think I heard someone, actually, I was at work, funnily, I always struggle with this word, funnily enough, someone was talking to someone else, so I don't know what they were to each other, but this guy was saying to another guy how a lot of people, and I've heard this being said before, but a lot of people overestimate what they can do in a year, but underestimate what they can do in 5 years. And I think that's what I've done with this particular situation, where I've just, like, been like, oh yeah, like, I'm gonna move, I'm gonna do this and that, and this year is gonna be the best year, I'm gonna change my life. And it's not happened because, you know, life. But I think if I was more realistic and didn't overestimate myself, I could have maybe told myself, okay, by 28, I could do this and that, you know, rather than giving myself this deadline that's not, like, you know, I don't have a lot of control in it. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the solution is other than just be more realistic and prepare for the worst, hope for the best. So I think I just need to remember to do that. if you are someone who is privileged enough to like live a life feeling carefree and like, you know, you can be like Donna Sheridan and just like go forth in the world like on a hope and a prayer and things just work out for you, then that's really amazing for you. I'm really happy for you. But everything I said, I want to make it very clear, this is all my experience on delusion and my relationship with being delusional. I'm not saying, this is not to say don't be delusional. But I guess I'm saying that if you are not the most privileged person like I am, then maybe don't rely on delusion as much as I have. So I guess that. But I'm not saying don't be delusional. Especially, girl, if you're privileged, if you have the looks and the money and you know, you haven't got any, like, if you're not like a marginalized group or anything, go and be delusional. Go and do it. But I can't do that. That's not how I can live my life, unfortunately. And I'm okay with that. Well, I'm trying to be okay with that. But it's hard, but, you know, what can you do? Life is life. Life isn't always fair. Life's a bitch, then you die, as Naz said. I think it was Naz. So yeah, I'm just gonna just try and stay positive, but be realistic. And when little moments of delusion works out and there's little miracles happen in life, I'm gonna treasure it, but I'm not gonna look at life as being a constant miracle. Now and again, things will happen. I'll be like, wow, I can't believe it. But it'll just be every now and then. It won't be every day. And that's okay. I'm going to have to, well, I'm saying that, but I feel like it's not okay. It's not fair. Like I said, I really have to work on this whole feeling like I'm owed good luck and a miracle just because I've had so much hard shit happen. But it's something I'm really going to try and work on. Because I don't want to keep disappointing myself, you know? And, you know, maybe this whole video is just me being bitter and jaded. Maybe when 5 years from now, I'll be in a much better situation. I'll feel really sad that I felt the need to make this video because I felt like I was so undeserving and so unlucky of living life by living my dreams and trying to like be a dreamer, because I'm such a dreamer, you know. I'm a Pisces moon. I'm a dreamer to the fullest extent, and maybe I'll feel really sad looking back on this video. But for now, I feel like I just needed to get this out, you know, because like I said, I wanted to make this video for ages. But yeah, let me know what you think. What do you think about the concept of being delulu? Do you have you tried being delusional? Has it worked for you? Has it not? Tell me, let me know. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you agreed with what I think or disagree. Just your opinions. I'd love to know. But yeah, thank you so much for listening to me yap. Like I said, if you want to watch this video again, but with no talking, just the nature sounds while I read, that'll be on my Patreon. So check that out if you want to. Otherwise, have a wonderful rest of the day. I hope you've had a great summer and I hope you have a wonderful day, life, whatever. Love you so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye.
Oh, don't come at me with that type of insanity. You know that's that shit I don't need. Sometimes I feel